Peggy 16.
The Titans might be the star of the show in Respawn Entertainment's debut game Titanfall, but how did these giant robots come about? We caught up with some of Team Titanfall to find out.
I look at the Titans as even when we design them, as more of a weapons platform with personality. You've got an Atlas class, which is it's the workhorse of the game. It's like the mid-level fighter.
The Ogre is the more slow but heavily shielded, heavily armored of the bunch. The Striders are very fast but somewhat less well armored, less well shielded Titans, so that one relies on its mobility. So when you're playing as the Stryder, you have to think more in terms of extending from the fight. Whereas with the Ogre, you can be a little more relaxed about it, be a little more measured in how you fight. And the Atlas is sort of a balance of the two, where you can take a little more damage, but you can also have more maneuverability than the Ogre.
We worked very hard into making their personalities really stand out as much as possible. You know, at one point we were mocapping Titans. We're sitting in a mocap studio here, so we were doing weird things like experimenting with putting actors and stuntmen on stilts and trying to see if we can get some different movement out of it. I mean, I think the animators had a blast really going after the different qualities and the movements of the Titans themselves, having different Titan falls. They each have different melees when they go in, and that really complement their character.
So how did the Titans themselves come about? Like, when you first came up with the concept for Titanfall, how did they evolve into what they are now?
We had some early concept sketches. We were working on different designs for different types of games. There was different types of, enemies or different types of creatures or things that we kind of put together. Joel, our lead artist, took some of the, concept sketches of what these Titans would be.
And drawings weren't completely getting us there, and it's hard to wrap your head around it. So I went back to old school scratch building and kit bashing with plastics and wire armatures, and
a lot of runs to Joanne Fabrics, huh?
Oh, yeah, we're doing the fabric store. I mean, it looked kind of weird, the stuff I was buying, as people are raising their eyebrows at me.
So he kind of sat in his office, just putting these things together, and what he came up with was like something that we all looked at and just went, wow, it's this thing that looks not just like a random put together kind of sci-fi piece, but it was like something that was real. It felt very grounded. It felt like it was something that could exist, and it was real, and it would work.
What makes the Titans in Titanfall different from mechs in other games?
For years I've watched anime and I've looked at manga, and there's a few of my favorites. I mean, I love Gundam, and I could go on about the Japanese influence in our design. That was important to take all that Japanese flair and then bring it to, I guess we're going to call it Western design.
The really special thing that sets it apart is the fact that we've managed to meld a large-scale game with the Titans and a small-scale game with the pilots into one. And that took a lot of design iteration, both on the movement speeds, the motion model, the skill of levels, the ability for a pilot, even though he's small and squishy, to not feel totally vulnerable against a huge robot. And the fact that you can get in and out of your Titan really fast, it means you can do things that change all the time. I'm in a big robot, I'm fighting little guys, now I'm in a robot fighting a big robot, and I'm going to eject, try and scurry away as a pilot and escape that other Titan. And there's just a whole range of gameplay options that having the big and the little at once really gives you, and it's not something you can get in many other ways.
I've rebuilt that one Titan personally in the game, the model for it, I think maybe 4 times now, to get to the one that you see in the game. And the other Titans are, they're no different. We had to go through iterations.
We work on and we say, this is really, there's something here, there's something fun, let's, work on it, tweak it, and some things become, amazing things that really make the game stand out.
We will.